All right, hey guys, what's up? Ramon here from Meds Podcast, and this is our first episode ever. And I'm really excited. We're here on Palisados in Jamaica on the beachfront, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited to speak and to show our perspectives on social media and the effect it has on us as individuals, impacting our passions and love we have on the different things in life. So I'm here with my lovely friend, beautiful guest, Rae-Anna.
Hi guys, thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm really happy that you're here. Um, I tried my best to find someone that I could really speak on the passions, because I think we were messaging the other day on Instagram
Yeah.
about our passions and what is it that we're good at, that we can really zone in and focus on and make bread, or at least impact the world in some sort
Yeah,
of way.
for sure. I think out of all the people you could have invited to come on this podcast, talk about passions, maybe I was the worst one. But I think it also gives a very insightful perspective to someone who's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times we just want to, there are two perspectives, right? They say that if you want to be good at something or if you want to accomplish something, ask someone who's already mastered it for them to be your tutor, right? That's really important, but it's also insightful to meet someone who's going through the journey and see what's not working for them as well. It's good to have someone that's going through the same thing that you are at the same time, but it's also really good to find a master
That's
in the
true.
thing.
That's true. But before, even in the midst of finding master, before that though, when we're completely lost
Yeah,
in navigating where or what we're good at, um, I think the word experiment is important, or at least trying to experiment in different areas, different fields, to get a taste of it, to see
yeah,
if you're actually okay. I'm decent in this or good
yeah.
at it in some form of way. I think that's the first step, maybe.
Yeah. Like for me, like when I had just left high school, my personality was like really shy
Yeah.
and I didn't really like stepping out of my comfort zone. And when I was starting college, my brother said to me, look, remember that college is really not even about getting a degree, it's more about networking and making those connections.
Yeah, that sucks.
And he also really brought home to me, like, yo, how do you know you wanted the engineering? Like, have you ever done it before? Like, have you done any other thing? Why are you going to go spend 3 years of your life and do a course that you don't even know that you like? And it's kind of funny because now here I am,
Mind-blowing.
4 or 5 years later, do I like engineering?
Mm,
That's like, I can't give you a solid yes or no for that, but it's very important to try a lot of different things. For me, people might ask how I've been able to do so much in such a short period of time, because I've worked in arts. I worked in the arts. I worked in creatives. I'm working in project management now. I've worked in like written word. Like I've worked in copy editing. I've done a lot. That's the best way I could put it. I worked in the medical field. I've done a lot in that sense. And I've been able to, and I've also been an actress, if you know that. Like I've been in plays. One play, I'm exaggerating. Anyway, but I've done a lot. And I think it's really important for you to experience as many things as possible for you to know what you really like. Because it's not like you're going to be like everybody on social media.
Yeah.
Oh, at 13, I figured out what I wanted to do.
Facts.
And here I'm making $1 million a month. That's the reality for some people, but that's not the reality for everybody.
But I feel so when on that point, I think it was so hard for me. I think during COVID, it was really rough. Where you're clinging really on social media. You're scrolling, and you're seeing all these 21-year-olds at the time, when I was 21, making millions of dollars, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. And I think a very large push during that time, which people thought was really helpful, but it really wasn't, was the fact that they're saying, oh, it's COVID. If you haven't learned a new skill, if you haven't learned something new during this time, then you've wasted your whole time. But then at the same time, this pressure to be following the same standard, the same rush of everybody in the world, like, that's not necessary. You need to go at your own pace. Like, yeah, you need to be better than who you were before, but you don't need to be better than everybody else around you.
That's true.
You know?
I think when I first started meds, I was looking at similar videos, like those inspirational
Yeah.
gym videos and stuff like that. And I started it not knowing my passion per se, but I started it knowing that it was started knowing not knowing my purpose. Because it's two different things though.
For sure.
My purpose and the passion is two different things. They work hand in hand for sure.
No, for sure.
But when I was watching those videos, I knew it wasn't my passion, but I knew that it clinged to my purpose, which is to inspire others in some form of way. But I'm saying that to say that you can do things that would connect in some shape or form with your purpose, that would then some way, I think, formulate a passion for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a lot of trains of thought on the subject, but like, to be very point blank before I go into all of those trains of thought, like, if your purpose isn't centered in God,
right,
then you're going to be searching for the rest of your life and you're never going to feel fulfilled.
For sure.
Like, point blank, I think that's maybe one of my biggest things, because I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not great at a lot of things, and within being good at a lot of things, maybe God's purpose for you makes you good at a lot of things to be able to be great at one thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're great at one thing, but not everything else, because that's the purpose God has for you. But the problem is, a lot of times we're on social media, we're looking at everybody else, and we're like, okay, maybe I'll be a good YouTuber. Maybe I'll be a good podcaster. Maybe I should start selling things online. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. And it's like we're all trying to figure out, we're all trying to make sense of what will never make sense to us outside of God.
No, you're right. I think another thing that would, on the same point, I think us being impatient as Jamaicans or whoever is watching this, I think us being impatient has a great factor on us not finding our passion.
And I think a lot of it, which from personal experience, is us running away. Because sometimes God tells us what our purpose is, and we're like, nah, God doesn't know what's best for me. I'm supposed to be a social media influencer, Jesus. You're missing the big picture, God. You're the one that's blind here, it's not me. And because of that, like, we keep on chasing, we're doing all of this work that's going to always be futile, because that's not God's purpose for us.
But I think another, what persons may ask, how do I know what God has for me? And I think an answer to that for me was constant prayer, constant communication, constant pouring out to Him in my little devotions, whether at night or daytime. And I think what's important is for us to be so open to whatever answer He gives us. And accept it for what it is.
That's why I'm saying a lot of us run from the purpose God gives. Some of us, and I'm not speaking as if I'm speaking from experience, bro. Some of us, God tells us our purpose, and we're like, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear you. I'm gonna pretend that my way is better. And sometimes God, listen to this. Sometimes God brings us over the same thing multiple times.
Why am I going through the same thing?
Sometimes God brings you through the same thing multiple times until you listen like, yo, I know your heart. I know you love me, but you're really misguided right now. And I need you to just recenter. I need you to like look at the experience I'm putting you through to let you know, like, yo, you're really misguided here. I understand that you are scared, but you need to trust that my will is best for you. It might not look like that.
I think for me, because I can really only speak on myself, on my journey. For me, with production, anything production, I never saw myself probably 10 years ago in this field.
Not for sure, because I remember
Yeah.
some years back, you're like, Rae-Anna, how you edit this video?
Yeah,
Like, Rae-Anna,
yeah.
what you do for audio?
Yeah.
Like, now you have a whole setup,
A
bro.
whole
Like,
setup, and I'd never saw myself in this field. And I think
let's also put it very clear that this guy was in engineering and
right,
stopped engineering and
right.
now
Yep,
marketing. And
yep,
listen to me,
yep.
if you are at the end of a journey that you started on your own and
Yeah.
God says turn the next way, bro, don't be afraid to start over. Start over.
No, you're right. And it was, I kid you not, during that time of switching from engineering to marketing, I wouldn't say I was lost, but I just knew that sometimes you know what you should not be doing.
Yeah, for sure.
You just, it's I wouldn't say it's a gut feeling, but you just know that, okay, I should not be doing this. And at the time, I just wanted out of that because I felt like I was really wasting my time.
Yeah.
In such a field. Not bashing engineering or anything like that, of course not. But I've really felt like wasting my time. And I was looking at the different aspects of my life outside of school that correlated. They were just connecting with production, especially with church. I spoke on it on Meet the Boss first episode on Aperture Productions page. Go ahead and watch it.
Wow, the promotion for me.
Go ahead and watch it, about the reason behind everything, all these businesses pertaining to image.
Yeah.
And how, or where I was coming from with it, and how lost I was in the midst of it all.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's always best, and I said it to you on Instagram, to take some time and to just observe yourself. Observe yourself at least 3 weeks or a week on what you're doing best, what you're best at, what you like doing, what brings you a sense of like a peace of mind in some way.
You asked me this question on Instagram because it's something. Let me just give us more context. When I was younger, like high school time, I think I was much clearer on the purpose God had for me. And at that time, I had made a lot of business ventures pertaining to that. So I had like skincare line, a hair care line, and stuff I was passionate about. Like at the time, like really passionate about like health, skincare, like natural, stuff. But as the time, I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. This is the funny thing. I'm talking from experience, everybody. I was like, nah, I don't feel like that's cool enough. I'm gonna do engineering. Let's put that out there.
That's where it came from.
Let's put that out there.
No, that's crazy.
By that time, I really felt like I had a passion and I had a purpose.
Yeah.
I stepped outside of that passion and out of that purpose. And if today you're supposed to ask me like, yo, Rae-Anna, do you still enjoy those things? If I sat down with them right now, I wouldn't, because I feel disconnected from them now. Yeah. But I'm still trying to find like, what's my passion, what's my purpose. So you asked me on Instagram that time where you said like, okay, if you're trying to find your passion, sit down and observe yourself for like 2 weeks. What makes you happy? Like what makes you feel fulfilled while you're doing it, whatever.
The little things.
The little things. And I was like, yo, there's nothing I do in my day-to-day life that literally makes me feel any type of passion whatsoever. And then I came back to you, I think a month later, and I was just like, well, I think I really enjoy giving people solutions. Right. And I think I really enjoy helping other people. By the time, again, I wouldn't really see anything useful from that. Fast forward to this month, my aunt gave me a book because I was telling my aunt like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing in my job. I don't know what I'm doing in life. I don't really like anything and nothing makes me happy. Like I don't have a, let me get up in the morning to do this activity kind of vibe. And she gave me this book called Find Your Why. Mm-hmm. I'm reading it now and I just read the introduction and I feel like the introduction was literally, woo!
I think, is it, who wrote it?
Simon Sinek.
Yeah. I really wanted, okay.
Yeah.
Go, because I really want a book. When it finished, just...
I was reading it, and I think your why is very similar to your purpose. It's why your purpose. And it kind of starts out with a story with this guy, and he was on a plane. The writer of the book was on a plane, and this guy came and sat on beside him. He's like, oh, this person's going to talk. And this person was talking about what he does for a living, and he sold steel. And the guy was like, yo, this guy is so boring. So he kept on asking the man, like, why do you sell steel? And he was like, what do you mean, why do I sell steel? And he was talking to this man for a really long time until the guy, like, finally got the answer, like, yo, I sell steel because I want to create a more sustainable future for my family and my kids and, you know, the next generation. And then because of that, his selling pitch as a seller of steel would be more focused on his why. And people are always drawn to companies, especially if you have a company and there's a why, there's a backstory, there's a reason. People are more likely to invest in that because people with purpose are attractive. That's a statement. People with purpose are attractive. And we're not talking about the romantic sense. People with purpose are attractive. And I read that and I was sitting down and I was just like, yo, what do I actually enjoy? And I revisited what I said to you before. I enjoy helping people find solutions. I enjoy helping people in cases or in situations where I had to learn, and I feel actual joy sharing what I've learned. And it made me like, you know, I need to sit down and really think about it. What place can I put my life in that's going to allow me to help others feel fulfilled and glorify God? And now that's me and God's conversation. I'm not talking as if I found the answer. I'm talking as if where God is leading me right now.
But it's so I think it's the fact that you're on your way.
Yeah.
You're on your way. You're on your way, and I think that's important. And what's happening right now is that we're losing light. And what I'm gonna do now is ask.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard for me at first to accept things for what it is, because I thought, honestly, that I was going to be a doctor.
We just jumped from engine to okay.
A whole doctor.
All right.
But a friend of mine, he and I were talking, and he said to me one thing, and I shared it earlier, where we should be open to whatever God's answer is for us whenever we pray for what we want in life in general, and also pertaining to our purpose and passion. Despite the social media influence that it will have on us in our minds and whatever we're exposed to, being open to the answer that whatever God has for us, and experiment. Go about probably, like as I said earlier, dipping and dabbing in different things to see what you're good at, what you're great at, what you love, what you find enjoyment in, and pray. And those are the three things that I think can help you in some way, shape, or form in finding purpose, finding passion.
And I think like something else that's really important is you can't just like say pray. Because somebody will come to God and be like, yo, God, I want to be a doctor, and that's it, God. Like, I'm waiting for you to fulfill that. Like, and it's about being open as a person, but also open to God. Like, when you go to God, be like, God, I want to know your will for my life. If I'm hesitant for whatever your will is going to be for me, remove the hesitancy. If I'm going to hear something and I'm going to pretend it's not you, Lord, remove that. If you see any part of me that doesn't want to do what you want me to do, Lord, remove it. Because naturally our hearts are going to fight. Because even if we sit down here and God calls it for us in our head and say like, yo, you are going to do this, you're going to say to God, no, I'm not.
No.
And to be honest, you can't change it.
Yeah, we can.
Only God can. So it's not even about being open. Sometimes we can't be open on our own.
And that's powerful. That's powerful. I'm not gonna lie.
It's facts and it's experience.
That's powerful. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate Rae-Anna for coming on.
You're feeling a part two? I feel
a part two. Yeah, a part two.
I don't know.
Well, a part two would be nice if you want us to speak on something else.
If you guys want a part two, please comment. Let me know.
Yeah.
Like blow up those likes and comments and let us know. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be here. You're missing out.
And I'm sure you want to see this face. But yeah, big up on yourself. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for more because there will be more. Big up on yourself.